Hello friends, it's Winfred again, and today we are going to be making Rolex on a budget, Ugandan style. If you find yourself when you don't have many ingredients in the house, but you want to whip up something quick for your family or for yourself, now this is the way to go. If you feel like biting through something and you don't have much in the house, all you need is flour, some onions for the chapati, and then some onions for your egg, some cabbage, tomatoes, green pepper if you have, some salt and cooking oil. Now if you want to see how it's done, let's start. Well, we'll start with chopping up cabbage. I don't have much cabbage, so this is why I said it's breakfast or Rolex on a budget. Because if you find yourself with limited resources and yet you need something to eat, this is what you should do. Get your little bits of cabbage that you have, chop it up. As you can see, I didn't have much, but in case you find yourself with more than what I have, that is good. But in case you're in my situation with limited resources, you chop up your cabbage, put it in a bowl or on a plate somewhere like I'm going to. That's my cabbage. Chop up your tomatoes. But remember that tomatoes have to be washed first, otherwise you could get yourself sick. Slice them up into small circular bits. They will look good in your Rolex. One tomato is enough. You don't have to have so many. So in case you're on a budget like I am today, this is how you should go. You chop up your tomatoes, put them on the side where you put your cabbage. Like I said, I'm on a budget. As you can see, this is how small my green pepper is, but that won't stop me from enjoying my Rolex. I chop it up into small bits. Then I remove the seeds because I don't want them in my Rolex. But if you want them in, that's okay. I don't, so I'm removing them. If you're like me and you don't want the seeds in there, you might as well remove them now. Now my green pepper is really small. Clear sign that I'm on the budget today, but I've got to have something to eat. I've finished chopping up my green pepper. I put them with the cabbage. Then I chop up my onion. Now the onions are for two things. One is for frying with your budgeted Rolex in the egg, and the other is for putting in your chapati. Because if you're on a budget and you need something to bite through, you definitely need some flour to help you get around. Now these are my onions for the Rolex when I'm done frying, so I'll put it with the cabbage. Now for the onions that are going to go in my chapati, I will cut them up into small chunks. And put them on the side. And I'll get to my egg now, because I need to get my eggs ready. The ingredients that will go in the Rolex need to be ready before you start, so that when you started, you don't stop. I'll break my egg. Because I'm on a budget, I'll use 2 eggs. But if you're not on a budget, you could use as many as could fill you up. Now you need some salt, just a pinch. Then you put in your onions, as you can see I'm doing. Now I'm putting some onions in the egg, but I'll put in some also when I'm done. Then you whisk it up. Now that will mean my egg is ready for using when I'm making my Rolex. Then I will have to get my bowl where I'm going to knead my dough. Now for Rolex you need warm water. So I'll get my warm water, put it in. It doesn't have to be a lot because I'm on a budget. My flour won't be so much. You put in some salt and mix. Make sure your water is warm enough, not hot, to avoid getting burnt. Then when that is done, you add in your flour. You could put in a cup of flour. You could put in 2, depending on how tight your budget is. And then you would start kneading. But before you do that, you would also need some baking powder. Just a spoonful, teaspoon. Then you knead as you're seeing me doing. Now for the chapati, you would better use your hands to knead. For those of you who don't want to get your hands dirty, this is one quick meal that would really go quicker if you're using your hands. As you can see, my dough is getting more together, but it's still sticky, so I'll add in some flour. Not too much, just a bit, in order to keep it off your hands. You knead. Now it's starting to stop sticking, but then I'll add some oil. It doesn't have to be much again. Now the oil also helps with the softness of your chapati. For those of you who make your chapatis and they always turn out to be hard, it's because when kneading, the water is cold and there is no oil. So you need to do both of them together. Your dough has got to be warm. And then you've got to put in reasonable amount of oil, depending on how big your chapati should be, or how many chapatis you want to do for your meal. Now for mine, because I'm on a tight budget, whatever number comes out of my dough will be the chapatis that I make. You don't have to stress on quantities, measurements. If you don't have much, anything you have in the house can whip up a quick meal for you and your loved one, so you don't go hungry. As you can see, my dough has stopped sticking on my hands and it's more together, but it's still warm. That means my water was warm enough. I'll add some flour. You add flour depending on how sticky it feels on your hands, until you get to a point where there is no flour sticking. Now this is a quick meal. It doesn't take long. As you have seen, I chopped up my cabbage, chopped up my tomatoes, my small green pepper, my onions. poured warm water in here and some salt and oil kneaded, and now this is how my dough would look like. Now what we do next is pinch it up into small bits depending on the size of the chapati that you want. Now my chapatis, I don't want them so big, but again I don't want them so small. I want them medium. Now I'm going to show you how I'll do it. I'll get some small oil, pour it over my dough, and then hold it with 2 hands. For those of you who don't want to get your hands dirty, it will only be for a short time. Now, as you're sizing up your dough, you pour oil over it, not too much, like a tablespoonful. Now, to size up your dough and come out in good circles, you do like this. You press it. Whatever comes out of your pinch is the size of your dough. That will be the size of your chapati. Now, my chapati will be this big. But if I wanted it smaller, I'll downsize. This is still how I'll downsize. I press, and whatever comes through my pinch is the size of my dough and my chapati. Now, that means I made the first one too big because I want to make 4 of them out of my dough, which gives me 4 chapatis. Now, after that step is finished, it's time to roll up our chapatis. Those of you who have the pin and board for rolling, you can start, but I don't have one. So what I will do, I'll use my hands to make circular balls out of my dough, and they are still warm, surprisingly. I'll reduce on that one because it's a bit bigger. When you pinch it through your thumb, you'll find that you can feel the size, whether it's too big or too small. That way you're able to do your chapatis when they are the same size. Now this is how my dough will look like. Now it's time for me to fry them. Something that I'm going to show you that will help. If you happen to have it at home, good, but if you don't, it's still okay. I have this chapati maker. This one over here. I'll turn it on, and then I'll start making my chapati. The advantage of having that at home is that you don't have to worry yourself about making a perfect shape of your chapati, because it will automatically come out round, because this machine will do it for you. So you let it do the hard work, because you deserve that rest when you're cooking, and the stress of having to roll. But if you have a rolling pin and board, it's good. If you don't have and you happen to have this, it's good. You plug it in power and give it about 2 minutes to heat up. Then you open it up and you will see what we are going to do from here. Because as it warms, you prepare your oil, the one you're going to use to make your dry chapati. You don't want it too oily, so we won't be deep frying this time. Now, because you want to be deep frying, we'll use this. Just a tablespoon of oil. Now, mine is ready. So I'll open it up. This is how it works. I'll open it up and put my dough just like that. I press it a bit, then cover and press. My dough is a bit big, but it will still come out. You press until you get the circular shape that you want. See how it's coming out circular? Now it's hot, but not so hot. Now I'll take it off, put it on another plate, and put another one. But before that, let me just show you how I'll do mine. I'll put some oil, a tablespoon. Let it heat up a bit. Then I'll put back my chapati, the one that I made before. You can see it. You put it on and turn. For those of you who can do this, you do it. But if you can't, I got myself some pepper. It doesn't matter what kind of pepper you have. As long as it's clean, you can use your pepper to turn, so you don't get yourself burnt. Now these are easy ways of making an African or Ugandan Rolex. Many of you have watched or seen people who make Rolexes. They don't have much to work with. And I'll do the same at home. You see the pepper is doing the same. Any pepper can do. You get a pepper, make it in a hard form, and then have a bit where you can hold and then turn. My chapati is starting to change color, if you can see. You can flip it and then put some more oil because it's dry. Now, to flip, if it has started heating up, you can use your spatula if you have one to turn, and then press again. As you can see, it's starting to change color. That means it's getting ready. If you see the desired color, which is a good brown color, not burnt, you know your chapati is ready. You keep on flipping until you get that desired color. I'll add some oil still, like a teaspoonful, because I don't want it too dry. You let it sit for a few minutes, then you flip again. See, the color has started to change. Now I'm having my nice color for the chapati. Once I have the desired color on there, I'll take it off. But I have to have a foiled plate. Now this is my foil pepper. I open it up and put my chapati. And turn off the heat. Now, as you can see, I've put my chapati in the foil pepper and covered it for now as I fry my egg. Now, to fry your egg, you get some cooking oil, like a tablespoon. Pour on the same chapati maker. Let your oil get ready, and then you pour your egg. Once it's ready, you pour your egg, and do you see how it's frying my egg for me? You put just enough to cover your egg, your chapati. That's the advantage of this chapati maker. If you happen to have it at home or you see it in the stores, don't hesitate to buy it. It's very helpful. Makes your work at home easy. Now I'll flip my egg when it's ready. When you think it is ready, now you can bring in your chapati. Remember the one we made earlier? You put it on top and then flip them together to a plate. You take it off and put it on a plate like that. This is how it would be. The egg is on top and the plate is on the bottom. I hope you can see. Today my help with the camera is not around, but I wanted to still make us something. If you can see the egg, now we are going to make the topping. Now, when you're done plating your egg on top of the chapati, you get your pre-prepared cabbage and onions. You pour in some apple cider vinegar. It also helps with the taste, especially cabbages. Just a teaspoonful. And then you get your cabbage, put it in the middle. You line it up with your tomatoes. And then you put some onions and some salt. Then you put your green pepper if you have. Like I said, I'm on a budget. It could be tighter than yours where you don't even have some of these things, but at least you don't get to go hungry. See how mine would look? Now I'm going to roll it to what we call a Rolex. Ugandan style. Just a minute. Now after I've rolled up my chapati, I'll split it into two. And plate. This is how it would look. Now this is Rolex, Ugandan style. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to be able to see more of my videos and like. See you next time. Bye bye.